We're replacing our roof. You cover $29,500. My sister texted with a PDF estimate. Dad says you owe us for the roof. I replied, no, she shot back. Then forget Christmas. I stayed quiet. On December 24th, she posted, safe under one roof, family first. I commented, cute caption. P.S. Home insurance policy, still under me. Just canceled it. 10 minutes later. My name is Ronald. I am 34 years old. For most of my adult life, I have been the person my family calls when money gets tight. Not because they respect me, not because they value me, but because I always say yes. I am an operations manager at a mid-sized logistics firm. I make decent money. Not rich, but stable. And stability, I learned early, made me useful. My sister Sandra is 29. She has always been the star. The chosen one. When we were kids, her birthday parties had bounce houses and magicians. Mine had grocery store cake and maybe 5 people. When she wanted to study graphic design in college, Dad paid for 4 years at a private school. When I wanted to go into business administration, I got a lecture about community college and scholarships. When she bought her first car, Dad co-signed and helped with the down payment. When I needed a car, I got a handshake and a reminder that I was responsible now. Sandra married a man named Alexander 3 years ago. He works in sales, the kind where income depends on charm and luck more than skill. They live in the house Dad bought back in 2018. It is a 3-bedroom ranch with a big backyard and a 2-car garage. Dad put the house in his name, but Sandra and Alexander live there. Rent-free. The deal was simple. They would handle maintenance and utilities. Dad would handle the mortgage. And me? I never lived there. I was never offered a room. But somehow, I ended up on the insurance policy as a co-insured. It happened 4 years ago. Dad wanted to refinance to get a better rate. The lender asked for proof of stable income tied to the property. Dad's retirement income was not enough. Alexander's commission-based salary looked inconsistent. So Dad asked me to be added as a co-insured to help strengthen the application. He said it was just paperwork. He said it would not cost me anything. He said it was temporary. I believed him. I always believed him. What I did not know at the time was that being listed as co-insured meant I could be billed directly. And 6 months after the refinance closed, the insurance company started charging me $340 a month. Every month, automatically withdrawn from my checking account. I noticed it one day while reviewing my bank statement. I called Dad to ask about it. He said it must have been a billing mix-up. He said he would handle it. He never did. I thought about canceling it myself, but I worried it would mess up their refinance terms or cause problems with the mortgage company. So I let it go, month after month, year after year. 48 payments. $16,320. Gone. And not once did anyone say thank you. Not once did anyone even acknowledge it. At family dinners, I sat at the far end of the table. Sandra and Alexander sat close to Dad, laughing about renovations they wanted to do or vacations they were planning. Dad would nod along, proud. I would eat quietly, invisible. Sometimes Sandra would glance at me and smirk, like she knew I was paying for something and enjoyed the fact that I did not bring it up. Last Thanksgiving, Sandra announced they were expecting their first baby. Everyone cheered. Dad teared up. Mom hugged her for what felt like 5 minutes. I congratulated her. She barely looked at me. Later that night, she posted photos on social media. The whole family gathered around her, hands on her belly, smiling. I was cropped out of every single one. I told myself it was fine. I told myself family was supposed to support each other. I told myself being dependable was a good thing. But deep down, a part of me knew. I was not family to them. I was a bank account, a backup plan, a name on a policy they pretended did not exist. I thought that was the worst it could get. I was wrong. The text came on a Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. I was at my desk, reviewing inventory reports. My phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Sandra. The message was not a greeting. It was not a question. It was a demand. We're replacing our roof. You cover $29,500. PDF estimate attached. Dad says you owe us for the roof. I stared at the words. My chest tightened. I opened the attachment. It was a detailed roofing estimate from a contractor. Tear-off, underlayment, architectural shingles, flashing, gutters, disposal fees. The total sat at the bottom in bold letters. $29,500. I read the message again. Dad says you owe us for the roof. I did not owe them anything. I had never agreed to pay for a roof. I had never even been asked. This was not a request. It was an assignment. A bill handed to me like I was a subsidiary account. I put my phone down. My hands were shaking. I took a breath. Then I typed a response. One word. No. I hit send. The message turned blue. Delivered. Read. 3 dots appeared immediately. Sandra was typing. The dots stayed on my screen for nearly a minute. Then her reply came through. Then forget Christmas. I read it twice. Forget Christmas. Not just an insult. A formal exclusion. A line drawn. I imagined her showing the message to Alexander. Both of them laughing. I imagined Dad nodding, agreeing that I was being unreasonable. I imagined Mom staying silent, unwilling to defend me like always. I did not respond. I locked my phone. I went back to my reports. But the words stayed in my head. Forget Christmas. For the next 2 weeks, I heard nothing. No follow-up text. No call from Dad trying to smooth things over. No apology from Sandra. Just silence. Cold, deliberate silence. I checked her social media once. She had posted a photo of the roofing estimate with the caption, "Big projects ahead. So blessed to have family support." The comments were full of congratulations. Friends saying how exciting it was. Relatives saying how proud they were. Not one person asked who was paying for it. Not one person questioned the cost. They all just assumed someone else was handling it. I closed the app. I felt sick. 2 days before Christmas, I got a group text. It was from Mom. The message went to me, Sandra, Alexander, and a few cousins. Christmas dinner at the house, 4 p.m. Bring a side dish if you can. Looking forward to seeing everyone. I noticed Sandra had hearted the message immediately. I did not respond. An hour later, Mom sent me a private text. "Ronald, are you coming?" Sandra said there was a misunderstanding. "Everything is fine now. Please come." A misunderstanding. That was what they were calling it. I did not reply to that either. On December 24th, I was at home. Alone. I had bought myself takeout and was watching a movie I had seen a dozen times. My phone buzzed. A notification. Sandra had posted on social media. I opened it. The photo showed the whole family. Dad, Mom, Sandra, Alexander. They were standing in front of the house, arms around each other, smiling. The Christmas lights were on. The yard looked perfect. And the caption read, "Safe under one roof, family first." I stared at the screen. Safe under one roof. Family first. Something inside me snapped. Not loudly. Not violently. Just a quiet, cold crack. Like ice breaking under pressure. I opened the comment section. My fingers moved before I could second-guess myself. I typed carefully. Precisely. Then I posted it publicly for everyone to see. Cute caption. P.S. Home insurance policy, still under me. Just canceled it. I hit post. The comment appeared beneath the photo. I refreshed the page. No response yet. I set my phone down. My heart was pounding, but my hands were steady. 10 minutes later, my phone exploded. Calls. Texts. Notifications. All of them from Sandra, Alexander, and Dad. I silenced the ringer. I did not answer a single one. I just sat there, watching the chaos unfold from a distance. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. The text, the threat, the exclusion, the Christmas post, my comment. I kept my phone on silent, but I could see the screen lighting up every few minutes. Calls from Dad, texts from Sandra, a voicemail from Alexander. I did not listen to any of them. Part of me wanted to feel guilty. Part of me wanted to take it back, call them, apologize, and pretend it was all a joke. But the bigger part of me felt something else. Relief. Clarity. Power. For years, I had carried their weight. I had paid their bills. I had funded their comfort. And I had done it quietly, hoping that one day they would notice. That one day they would thank me. That one day I would matter to them the way Sandra mattered. But that day never came. It was never going to come. I thought about all the times I had been erased. The birthday parties where I was an afterthought. The family photos I was cropped out of. The holidays where I sat at the edge of the table, invisible. The moments where Sandra got everything and I got lectures about responsibility. I thought about the $16,000 I had quietly paid. The insurance premiums that vanished from my account every month. The refinance I helped with that benefited everyone except me. The co-insured title I agreed to because I wanted to help, because I thought that was what family did. And I thought about Sandra's text. "We're replacing our roof. You cover $29,500. Dad says you owe us for the roof." I did not owe them anything. I never had. They owed me. Years of respect. years of acknowledgement, years of basic human decency. And instead, they gave me exclusion, entitlement, and erasure. The weight I had been carrying for so long started to lift. Not all at once, but slowly, like a pressure valve releasing. I realized something I should have realized years ago. I did not need their approval. I did not need their gratitude. I did not need to be part of a family that only saw me as a resource. I picked up my phone. 53 notifications. I scrolled through them without opening any. Sandra's messages were frantic. Alexander's were angry. Dad's were confused. Mom had sent one text asking me to call her, but even that felt hollow. She had watched them treat me this way for years. She had never stood up for me. She was just trying to smooth things over now because the fallout was public. I set the phone back down. I was done explaining myself. I was done justifying my boundaries. I was done being the invisible wallet they only remembered when they needed something. The next morning, I woke up to more messages. One caught my eye. It was from a cousin, Heather, someone I had not spoken to in over a year. Her message was short. Saw your comment. Are you okay? It was the first time anyone had asked. I typed back. I'm fine. Just done being used. She replied immediately. Good for you. They've been using you for years. Everyone saw it except you. I read that line 3 times. Everyone saw it except you. She was right. I had been blind. Woefully blind. Hoping that if I gave enough, sacrificed enough, stayed quiet enough, they would eventually see me as more than an ATM. But hope does not change people who do not want to change. I got out of bed. I made coffee. I sat by the window and watched the city wake up. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. By noon on Christmas Day, the insurance company had confirmed the cancellation. I knew because I received an automated email. Policy termination effective immediately. Refund of prorated premium processing within 7 business days. I did not feel guilty. I felt methodical. I opened my laptop and pulled up my bank statements. I wanted to see the full picture. 4 years of payments. $340 a month. 48 months. $16,320. But insurance was not the only thing I had been paying. I scrolled further back. 2 years ago, Alexander's car insurance lapsed. He called me in a panic. He said his policy had canceled because of missed payments and he needed proof of coverage to keep driving legally. He asked if I could add him to mine temporarily. I did. Temporarily turned into 2 years. $160 a month. $3,840. 3 years ago, Sandra needed help covering the property taxes on the house. Dad's retirement check came late, and the county was charging penalties for late payment. She asked if I could front the money. I sent $2,000. She said she would pay me back. She never did. 4 years ago, Dad asked me to co-sign on a credit card to help him rebuild his credit score after a bankruptcy scare. I co-signed. He maxed it out within 6 months. I ended up paying off the balance. $4,200. I added it up. $16,320 for home insurance. $3,840 for car insurance. $2,000 for property taxes. $4,200 for the credit card. Total, $26,360. And now they wanted another $29,500 for a roof. I sat back. My coffee was cold. My hands were steady. I was not angry anymore. I was calculating. I logged into my insurance account. The home insurance was already canceled. Alexander's car insurance was still active. I went into the policy settings and removed him as a listed driver. The system processed it immediately. Coverage terminated. I received another confirmation email. Next, I checked the credit card. It was still open. My name was still on it as a co-signer. I called the credit card company. I explained that I wanted to be removed as an authorized user. The representative asked if the primary cardholder had given consent. I said no. She explained that without his consent, I could not remove myself unless I disputed the account. I asked what that meant. She said I could file a report claiming I never authorized the charges. It would flag the account for fraud investigation and potentially freeze it. I paused. That felt too far. For now, I thanked her and hung up. Then I sent a single text to Dad. Short. Direct. Removed Alexander from my car insurance. Policy is canceled. If you need coverage, you'll have to find it yourself. I did not wait for a response. I turned my phone face down. An hour later, it rang. I flipped it over. Dad. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. I ignored it again. On the third call, I answered. Ronald, what the hell is going on? I did not raise my voice. I did not explain. I just said it. I'm done paying for things that benefit everyone except me. There was silence on the other end. Then he spoke again, quieter this time. This is about the roof, isn't it? Sandra shouldn't have asked like that. But you didn't have to humiliate her online. I almost laughed. Humiliate her. She had spent years erasing me, and now I was the villain because I stopped paying her bills. I hung up. I blocked his number. Then I blocked Sandra's. Then Alexander's. One by one. Clean. Final. The only person I did not block was Mom. I still was not sure why. 3 days after Christmas, someone knocked on my door. I was not expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole. Sandra. She was alone. No Alexander. No Dad. Just her, standing in the hallway with her arms crossed. I considered not answering. I considered pretending I was not home. But something told me to open the door. To face it. I unlocked the deadbolt and pulled the door open halfway. I did not invite her in. She looked tired. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her eyes were red, either from crying or anger. Probably both. We need to talk, she said. I did not move. No, we don't. Her jaw tightened. Ronald, you canceled the insurance. Do you have any idea what you've done? I leaned against the doorframe. I stopped paying for something that was never my responsibility. She shook her head. It wasn't just about the insurance. The contractor needs proof of active coverage before he starts the roof. Without it, he's pulling his crew. We already paid him a deposit. I raised an eyebrow. Then I guess you should have been nicer to me. Her face flushed. This isn't a joke, Ronald. The mortgage company requires continuous insurance. If we don't have it, they'll force-place a policy. Do you know how expensive that is? It could be double what you were paying. I shrugged. Sounds like your problem. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped. You're really going to do this? You're going to punish the whole family because you're bitter? I felt something cold settle in my chest. Bitter. That was what she thought this was. Bitterness. I straightened up. I looked her directly in the eyes. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not helping anymore. There's a difference. She opened her mouth to argue, but I kept going. For 4 years, I paid that insurance. $16,000. You never asked if I was okay with it. You never said thank you. You never even acknowledged it. And then you text me demanding another $30,000 like I'm an ATM. Then you threatened to exclude me from Christmas. And now you show up at my door acting like I'm the bad guy because I stopped letting you use me. Her expression shifted. For a second, I thought I saw guilt. But it was gone as fast as it appeared. Dad said you'd help, she said quietly. I laughed. It was not a happy sound. Dad's been saying a lot of things for years. None of them were true. Sandra took a breath. Her voice softened. She was switching tactics. Ronald, please. I'm pregnant. We're trying to fix the house before the baby comes. We can't afford to lose the contractor. Can't you just restart the insurance? Just until the roof is done. I felt nothing. No sympathy. No guilt. Just cold clarity. No. She stared at me. What? I said no. You made it very clear I'm not part of the family. You excluded me from Christmas. You call me bitter. You've spent years treating me like I don't matter. So no, I'm not restarting the insurance. I'm not covering the roof. I'm not helping. You're on your own. Her face went pale, then red, then pale again. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. I stepped back and started to close the door. Wait, she said, her voice breaking. I paused. Don't come back here, I said. And don't contact me again. I shut the door. I locked it. I heard her standing there for a long moment. Then footsteps. Then silence. I walked back to my couch. My hands were shaking. But not from fear. From relief. I had finally said no. And I meant it. I could not sleep again. But this time, it was not because of guilt or doubt. It was because I needed to know the full scope. I needed to see exactly what I had been funding and exactly what would happen now that I had pulled the plug. I sat at my desk and opened a blank spreadsheet. I labeled the columns. Date. Expense. Amount. Proof. I started filling it in. Row 1. Home insurance. Monthly. $340. Proof. Bank statements. Automatic withdrawal confirmations. Insurance company account portal showing me as co-insured and payer. Row 2. Car insurance for Alexander. Monthly. $160. Proof. Insurance policy documents with his name listed, payment history, cancellation confirmation email from 3 days ago. Row 3. Property tax bailout. One time. $2,000. Proof. Venmo transfer receipt with Sandra's note. Thank you. Will pay you back soon. Date stamp, November 2021. No repayment ever made. Row 4. Credit card cosign and payoff. One time. $4,200. Proof. Credit card statements, cosigner agreement, payment confirmation showing my bank account covering the full balance. Row 5. Miscellaneous bailouts. Various. Estimated $3,000. Proof. Scattered Venmo and Zelle transfers. Notes like emergency, short this month, just until Friday. Total documented, $29,560. I sat back. The irony was not lost on me. They had asked for $29,500 for the roof. I had already given them almost the exact same amount over the years. And they had the audacity to act like I owed them more. I saved the spreadsheet. I titled it Family Financial History. Then I went deeper. I logged into the insurance company portal. I pulled up the full policy history. Start date, March 2019. Policyholder, Dad. Co-insured, me. Billing account, mine. I took screenshots. I downloaded the payment ledger showing every single monthly charge to my account. 48 payments. 0 missed. 0 late. I had been more responsible with their insurance than they ever were. Next, I searched my email for anything related to the refinance. I found the original request from Dad. The email was polite, almost sweet. Ronald, I need a favor. The lender wants another name on the insurance to strengthen the refi application. It's just paperwork. Won't cost you a thing. Can you help me out? I took a screenshot. I highlighted the line. Won't cost you a thing. Then I found the follow-up email from 6 months later. This one was from Sandra. Hey, the insurance company has you listed as the billing contact. I think there was a mix-up. Can you forward me the login so I can fix it? I had forwarded her the login. She never fixed it. I took a screenshot of that too. I opened a new folder on my desktop. I labeled it Evidence. I dragged every screenshot, every receipt, every bank statement, every email into that folder. Organized by date, by type, by amount. Then I did something I had been avoiding. I checked the public fallout from my comment on Sandra's Christmas post. The comment was still there. It had 63 likes, 42 replies. I scrolled through them. Most were from people I did not know. Sandra's friends, Alexander's co-workers, distant relatives. The replies were mixed. Some were supportive of me. Good for you for standing up for yourself. Family shouldn't take advantage like that. Others were defensive of Sandra. This is so inappropriate to air publicly. Family disputes should be private. But one reply stood out. It was from my cousin Heather. Ronald's been funding that house for years. Insurance, taxes, bailouts. They've been using him as a piggy bank and then excluded him from Christmas when he said no to paying for a roof. He doesn't owe them anything. She had posted receipts. Screenshots of old group chats where Sandra had joked about Ronald's emergency fund. Screenshots of a conversation where Alexander had said, Ronald always pays, just ask him. I had not sent her those. She must have had access to old family group messages I had forgotten about. She was backing me up. Publicly. The replies under her comment were vicious. People were turning on Sandra, asking why she excluded me, asking why she demanded money for the roof, asking why the family had been using me. Sandra had deleted the original post, but it was too late. Screenshots were circulating. People had shared it. The damage was done. I closed my laptop. I felt a strange calm. I had the proof. I had the support. And I had the control. For the first time in years, I was not the one scrambling. For days after Sandra showed up at my door, I received a call from an unknown number. I almost ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. I answered. Hello. Is this Ronald? The voice was unfamiliar. Male. Professional. Who's asking? My name is Roger. I'm the contractor working on the roof replacement at your father's property. I got your number from the insurance documentation. You're listed as the co-insured, correct? I paused. I canceled the policy. There was a silence. Then a sigh. Yeah, that's why I'm calling. I need active proof of insurance before I can start the job. The homeowner hasn't provided it yet. I've got my crew scheduled for next week, but if I don't get confirmation by Friday, I'm pulling them and moving to another project. I leaned back in my chair. This was better than I expected. I can't help you. I'm not involved anymore. Understood. I just wanted to confirm. Thanks. He hung up. I set my phone down. The roof job was falling apart, just like I knew it would. 2 hours later, I got a text from Mom. The first one since Christmas. Ronald, Please call me. This has gone too far. I did not respond. Another text came through. Then another. Then a voicemail. I listened to it on speaker. Ronald, honey, I know you're upset, but your father is panicking. The mortgage company called. They said the insurance lapsed, and they're going to force place a policy if we don't get coverage reinstated by the end of the week. It's going to cost us almost $800 a month. We can't afford that. Please, just talk to him. Work this out. $800 a month. More than double what I had been paying. I felt no sympathy. I deleted the voicemail. I went back to work. That afternoon, I received a Facebook message request. It was from Alexander. I had blocked his number, but apparently he found a workaround. Ronald, man, I get it. You're pissed. But this is affecting more than just Sandra and your dad. This is affecting me. My car insurance got canceled. I got pulled over yesterday and got a ticket for driving uninsured. $600 fine. I can't afford that. I've got a baby on the way. Can we please talk? I stared at the message. $600 fine. That was his consequence. Not my problem. I blocked him on Facebook too. The next morning, I woke up to an email. It was from Dad. The subject line read, "We need to resolve this." I opened it. Ronald, I don't know what happened between you and Sandra, but this has spiraled out of control. The insurance situation is causing serious problems. The contractor is threatening to cancel. The mortgage company is threatening to force place. Alexander got a ticket. Sandra is stressed, and it's not good for the baby. I'm asking you, as your father, to reconsider. If money is the issue, we can work out a payment plan. Just please restart the insurance. A payment plan. For something I had already been paying for years without ever being asked. For something they took for granted. For something they only cared about now that it was gone. I typed a response. Short. Final. No. I hit send. I closed the email. I did not check for a reply. That evening, my phone rang. Blocked number. I answered. Ronald. It was Dad. His voice was tight. Strained. You got my email? I did. And your answer is no? Yes. There was a long pause. I could hear him breathing, trying to stay calm. Do you understand what you're doing? You're punishing your sister. You're punishing me. You're punishing your mother. All because of what? Pride. I felt the anger rise. But I kept my voice even. No. I'm protecting myself. From a family that has used me for years and never once treated me with respect. You want the insurance? Pay for it yourself. You want the roof? Pay for it yourself. You want Alexander's car covered? Let him pay for it himself. I'm done being the backup plan. His voice cracked. You're being selfish. I almost hung up, but I wanted him to hear this. I've been selfless for years. I paid your insurance. I bailed out Sandra. I co-signed your credit card. I covered your property taxes. I gave and gave and gave. And the one time I said no, you call me selfish. That tells me everything I need to know. Silence. Then he spoke again. Quieter. If you don't fix this, you're not welcome here anymore. I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because it was so predictable. I haven't been welcome for years. You're just saying it out loud now. I hung up. I turned off my phone. I sat in the quiet. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. The fallout came fast. Within a week, I heard through Heather that the contractor had pulled his crew. The deposit Sandra and Alexander paid was non-refundable. $3,000 gone. The roof stayed damaged. Rain started leaking into the attic. They had to put buckets in the hallway to catch the drips. The mortgage company force-placed an insurance policy. Just like Mom said, $795 a month. Sandra and Alexander could not afford it. Dad tried to cover it with his retirement check, but it left him short on other bills. They started fighting. Publicly. On social media. Passive-aggressive posts about financial stress and family betrayal. Alexander's ticket for driving uninsured turned into a suspended license. He could not drive to work. He had to take ride shares. His sales numbers dropped. His boss put him on probation. Sandra's stress affected her pregnancy. She ended up on bed rest. The medical bills started piling up. She posted a GoFundMe asking for help. It raised $200. She deleted it 3 days later. I watched it all from a distance. I did not gloat. I did not comment. I just observed. This was not revenge. This was consequence. Natural. Inevitable. The result of years of entitlement crashing into reality. Heather called me one night. She sounded proud. You did the right thing. I did not know how to respond. I just said thank you. Everyone's talking about it. Half the family thinks you're a hero. The other half thinks you're cold. But no one thinks you're wrong. I appreciated that. 2 months later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Mom. It was short. Ronald, I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you. I should have seen what was happening. I was afraid of conflict, so I stayed quiet. That was wrong. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I see it now. I read it 3 times. It was the first time she had ever acknowledged any of it. I did not respond, but I kept the letter. 3 months after Christmas, I moved. I found a new apartment across town. Bigger, better view. I did not tell anyone in the family where I was going. I packed everything myself. I hired movers. I left no forwarding address. On my last night in the old place, I sat on the balcony and looked out at the city. I thought about the years I spent trying to earn their respect, the money I gave, the silence I kept, the invisibility I accepted. I thought about Sandra's text. We're replacing our roof. You covered $29,500. Dad says you owe us for the roof. I did not owe them a roof. I did not owe them insurance. I did not owe them anything. And now, finally, I believed it. I stood up. I went inside. I locked the door behind me. The next morning, I handed in my keys. I drove to my new place. I unpacked slowly. I set up my desk by the window. I made coffee. I sat down and opened my laptop. I had one last thing to do. I opened the family financial history spreadsheet. I looked at the totals. $29,560. Then I created a new document. I titled it Lessons Learned. I wrote one line. The people who take you for granted will always blame you when you stop giving. Let them. I saved it. I closed the laptop. I looked out the window at the skyline. The sun was setting. The city was glowing. I was free. I was independent. I was done. And for the first time in my life, I was enough.